Coming up, provocation or attention seeking, North Korea's nuclear ambitions. A new nominee to the U.S. Supreme Court. Will she be liberal or conservative? And General Motors files for bankruptcy. Hello, I'm Morris Jones. This is Press TV's Sudio America from Washington. Here's what's happening now. President Obama is reacting with anger over North Korea conducting more missile tests. This after the North detonated a nuclear device earlier in the week.
Russia and China, as well as our traditional allies of South Korea and Japan, have all come to the same conclusion. North Korea will not find security and respect through threats and illegal weapons.
So why is North Korean President Kim Jong-il defiant as world leaders try to bring him to the peace table? We talked with an expert here in Washington.
It's normal North Korean attention-seeking behavior, reminding us that while we might want to put them on the list of things to get around to this summer, since we have so much else on our immediate agenda, they're not very content to stay in a second or third tier status, and they're going to cause some trouble. And if they cause just the right amount of trouble, they can get attention without poisoning the waters for possible improved relations.
But there is little more Washington can do to deter North Korea, punished for years by international sanctions and so poor it relies on aid to feed its 23 million people. Nuclear proliferation is also an issue with Iran. The Obama administration is debating what it would take to get Iran to stop producing nuclear materials that could also be used to build weapons. The short answer is nothing, according to a French diplomat who worked with Iran. Joining us now live is investigative journalist Gareth Porter, who has been researching Iran's nuclear program. Gareth, what have you found out?
Well, what is interesting to me is the controversy surrounding the U.S. intelligence community's national intelligence estimate on Iran from December 2007 has focused on the question of whether the Iranians were really far along in their so-called nuclear weapons program in 2003 when it was ended, according to that estimate.
Well, this conversation will continue, and we'll keep following this throughout our newscast to come. In the meantime, author, investigative journalist Gareth Porter, thanks for joining us. Despite all the problems in the American car industry, U.S. consumer confidence soared last month to its highest level in almost a year. But there are still major economic problems in the U.S., high unemployment being at the top of the list. And that's causing another round of foreclosures affecting thousands of families. Press TV's Susan Madaris has the latest from New York.
As job losses rise across the United States, a growing number of American homeowners with once solid credit are falling behind on their mortgages, causing a new wave of foreclosures. In the latest phase of the country's real estate disaster, the focus of trouble has shifted from subprime loans, which were loans that were offered at a rate above prime to individuals who do not qualify for prime rate loans, to the far more prime loans issued to those with decent financial histories.
The Mortgage Bankers Association reports the number of delinquent mortgages and homes already in foreclosure rose 12% the first half of this year from 2008 levels. Press TV's Susan Madaris joins us again from New York. Susan, critics of easy mortgages say minority groups were lured into buying homes when maybe that wasn't the best thing for them.
Well, Morris, not necessarily that they were lured into buying these homes, but perhaps the economic climate, so to say, was favorable for them 4 or 5 years ago, where there was less of discriminatory lending and zoning at that time. So they felt comfortable in getting loans and buying these homes as opposed to now. Now, a lot of analysts are saying that that itself created a bubble for these minority groups, and they shouldn't have been granted these loans at that time because they wouldn't be able to pay off in the long run. But at that point, notably during the initial years of the previous administration, the Bush administration, and at the end of the Clinton years, the economic climate here in the United States, as you well remember, was very favorable. And at that point in time, that seemed to be the right thing to do. And nobody anticipated that we would be in this political climate at this point in time with the mortgages. So once again, I would say they weren't lured into it, but the situation was more favorable.
Okay, Susan Madaris in New York, thanks for the update.
Thank you, Morris. I'll keep you updated with another report tomorrow from New York.
Native American Indians have a rich history in building the U.S. They worked on most of the skyscrapers in New York City. Their background as ironworkers dates back to the 1800s when Native Americans built railroad bridges in the U.S. And looking back at this week in history, the Golden Gate Bridge opened exactly 72 years ago in San Francisco. The 2-mile-long structure cost $35 million in 1937 dollars and was hailed as one of the great architectural achievements of the 20th century. Moving now from San Francisco to a small town in Wisconsin, where elementary school students have been rewarded for getting nearly perfect test scores. Here's the reward. The kids won a bet with their school principal. The principal agreed to kiss a cow if her students got outstanding grades. Janice Haven and the assistant principal both agreed to pucker up and make good on the bet. With so much concern about swine flu, at least nobody was kissing a pig. For all of us here at Press TV's Sudio America, I'm Morris Jones in Washington.